Greetings, viewers, and welcome to our Webforms info sharing session. Today's session will cover the new Webforms logging process. Now, if you're familiar with the existing Webforms process, you would have one web form per product, where you would then log your various support queries specific to that product. What we've done now is we've taken one landing page, one web form, which allows you to log support queries for multiple products from one centralized location. Let's see how it works. Firstly, it's a case of specifying the type of user. For example, a standard user, advanced user, or a Sage Business Partner. Right, and then a section about your contact information. Firstly, it's a case of inserting your account number or site code. This information is very important as it allows us to determine the origin of the support query. If you are a partner, then you need to specify your client's customer number. We then have details about the company name, your contact name, the contact email address for correspondence, as well as the contact number. And if you are a Sage end user, simply specify details about your linked business partner. We then have a section about product information. Now, this section allows you to specify all products within the medium segment. So, for example, on our drop-down, we've got all the products within our medium segment, and it's a case of specifying the product that your support query relates to. So I'm going to use Sage 200, and based on my selection, I'm now going to have a range of questions which are pertinent to the product. So, for example, details about the version being used. I've got details of all the versions, and I would select the version that I'm currently using. We then have details about the modules, so details about all the modules specific to the product, and I then go specify the module that relates to my support query. Right, then we have details about the type of query. There are three options there. Request for information or guidance, request investigative assistance, or request an enhancement. Request for information or guidance is really information about the product. We then have request investigative assistance, which will deal with, for example, support queries, on-screen error messages, etc. And then request an enhancement is details about submitting a product suggestion or an enhancement to an existing feature. So, for example, in the case of an on-screen error, I'm going to use that option. And on my drop-down, I can specify I'm experiencing an on-screen error message. Right. And very importantly, a brief summary of the query being experienced. For example, processing a certain transaction, running a report, etc., just for us to determine exactly what the query is. And then details about how often can the issue be replicated. For example, is it occurring at random, every time a process or report is run, etc. So in this particular case, every time a process occurs, and details about did this function work before, or were you able to process this type of transaction or report previously? If it's a case of yes, when was the last time that this option could be undertaken? And very importantly, if that is the case, there could have been instances where a change has taken place on your system, which has resulted in the on-screen error message. So it could be, for example, a product upgrade, a change to your Windows operating system, a change to your antivirus program. So any details that you feel may be applicable or have caused this problem, simply insert the details here. Where can the query be replicated? For example, it could be specific to the server, a single workstation, multiple workstations, etc., or the workstations as well as the server. So, for example, if it's occurring on all workstations and users, select that option. And then very importantly, detailed steps on how to replicate the error. So here you simply need to specify detailed steps in a sequential sequence on how to replicate the error. This information is absolutely vital as it will allow our support consultants details on the process being followed to replicate the error, as well as basic steps on how to troubleshoot the problem being experienced. So very importantly, insert those details there, as much information as possible. Also very importantly is any troubleshooting steps that you may have undertaken prior to submitting your web form. This information is very important as it will allow our support consultants to determine what troubleshooting has been done, and then they would not need to go and revisit those particular processes. They could then focus perhaps on more troubleshooting or complex issues in order to resolve the problem and determine a solution to the error message. We then request details about the SQL version being used and details about the database size. Also, how would you best describe the query? For example, a potential software bug, a confirmed software bug, or a feature that worked differently on a previous version of the application. The number of users that this problem is impacting, it could be a small percentage, or perhaps the whole organization could be impacted by this particular issue. And then, how is this issue impacting the business as a whole? For example, are there perhaps alternatives that can be made use of? Or is a key business process not functional? For example, running of reports, processing transactions, etc. So just depending on the impact that this scenario has on your business. And then finally, the ability to upload files. Now, very specifically, for example, with regards to error messages when running reports or processing transactions, it is very useful if you could perhaps process or provide us with a screenshot. So simply take a screenshot of the error message, convert that into an image file, and then attach that particular attachment onto your web form. This will certainly be beneficial to our support consultants when they attempt to troubleshoot the problem and provide a solution to your query. You also have the ability to receive a carbon copy of the web form. If that's the case, click on this box, insert your email address, and upon submission, you will then receive a carbon copy of the web form that you have just submitted. Once you click on submit, we will then receive your web form and allocate it an incident reference number. Our support consultants then commence with the troubleshooting and resolution process and be able to assist you. So as you can see, it's a new compact form where you can log queries for multiple products and specify details which are specific to your product. So as you can see, more compact, more streamlined, more efficient. Thank you for watching. It's over and out from me, and goodbye.